Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Anthony here, just at the top of the podcast. So, before we jump into our Christmas special, I just wanted to have a few sort of announcements going on because we're horrible at this and we're bad at advertising ourselves. I just wanted to throw this at the beginning. First off, if you do have some time, we'd really appreciate it if you guys could review us on the Apple Podcast Store. It really helps us out. Every rating sort of bumps us up a little bit and gets more people listening to us. So, yeah, if you can spare a few minutes, that'd be amazing. Also, just throwing it sort of out there because we're again horrible at advertising. We do have a Patreon if you guys want to check it out. It's patreon.com/bikini bottom radio. Helps us out there. Costs a little bit to keep the site up and running, so if anything helps. If not, that's totally cool. No obligation at all. And all the normal social media stuff. We're Bikini Bottom Radio on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow us on there. And yeah, here's the episode.
Welcome to Bikini Bottom Radio.
Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to Bikini Bottom Radio. This is your host, Robert.
And I'm Anthony.
And I'm Jenny.
And today,
and it's co-host Robert.
we're all hosts. I don't know.
I didn't host on this blessed day.
Oh, my God. I didn't mean anything by it, everybody. Okay.
We all know you're trying to take over the group. You're going to go solo in a couple of months. We get it.
Yeah, I'm the George Michael of this podcast. You guys are the other people in Wham.
The rest?
Yeah, the rest. You guys, both of you make up the other half of Wham. Hold up. Wham members. You guys are both.
That's sad that you had to look it up.
Oh, I really do.
The rest?
Oh man, this is bad. You guys are both Andrew Ridgely.
All right.
Sure.
We're one half of a person. We can't even be a whole person.
And before no, it's Christmas time. We have to sing Last Christmas.
Okay, sorry.
Last Christmas.
Give you my heart.
That's
the next day.
You gave it away.
Okay, anyway.
One of the best Christmas songs. I will fight people on this.
Honestly, it kind of is.
Anyway, where was I? Anthony doesn't want to talk about Christmas music. He's worked in retail. He's over it.
I like Christmas rapping. That's my favorite one.
Really?
Which one?
Yeah, Christmas rapping. By the waitresses.
Really? That's my mom's favorite Christmas song.
What? I don't know that song.
It's Anthony. You sing it. It's your favorite Christmas song.
What? No, I suck at singing.
No, just sing a few bars. We're not gonna judge you. Don't worry.
It goes like Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm partial.
I love that that whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's the part that everyone remembers. Yeah.
I'm partial to God Rest You Merry Gentlemen.
It's the only Christmas song that has the word Satan in it, so I think it kind of bumps it up.
And the Pentatonics version is like, it's great. It's probably one of my favorite versions. I also like the Bells song.
Carol of the Bells.
Yeah, I like the drama.
The most terrifying Christmas song of all time.
I just remember being a kid and I would play that on my like CD player because we had like a random Christmas thing and they had that song on it.
Uh-huh.
And I would just dance around my room really dramatically.
Well, how could you not? It's the most dramatic Christmas song.
Yeah, that I would, like how you pretend you're in a music video. I would like do that, like just in front of the mirror, look out the window, like drama. Just yeah, that's my aesthetic.
Yeah, how we've all pretended to be. I'm sure I have at some point.
Just you see the rain falling on the window, and you're just thinking of a sad song, and like,
oh,
I'd
man,
be great in a music video.
Wish someone would take my photo right now.
Exactly.
Anyway. I haven't even told everyone what episode we watched. So like 2-3 minutes later, whatever it is, we watched It's a SpongeBob Christmas. We're jumping ahead to season 8, episode 26. Guys, we made a big old jump. If you haven't watched it yet, pause and go watch it now.
Yeah, yes, do. It's good.
We'll wait.
Future Anthony put 22 minutes of silence in.
Yeah, just full 22 minutes of silence before we...
No, just, you gotta put a couple...
we'll pop in at the end like a surprise.
Okay. For real. Everyone pause. And you're back. Cool. You just watched It's a SpongeBob Christmas, Season 8, Episode 26. I, Robert, do own the Blu-ray for this special.
Oh, really?
Jay and I watched it on Vudu, because I think I bought it through like Walmart or something. It came with like a code, but I own it because I actually really like this special. I think it's weird in a lot of different ways.
Santa.
It is bizarre.
It's like, it's weird because it's like late stage SpongeBob. They do a stop motion Christmas special. I'm a sucker for Christmas, so when I watched it for the first time, I loved it. But I was like, there's a lot of really weird things happening, which I think made me love it more. And we're gonna get into those weird things.
Definitely.
So, does anyone have anything before we start on this? I was gonna actually try and read the synopsis on the wiki, but this is really long.
It is.
A lot happens.
It's really long.
There's honestly like kind of like 4 different plots happening.
Yeah.
So the thing. So
I guess let's start. Unless anyone has anything to say about the episode before we go.
I guess I just want to say, well, I guess kind of a start.
Go for it.
Is this the first episode we've done with Patchy the Pirate?
No, the first episode was this is actually in my notes. The first Patchy the Pirate episode was the other Christmas episode.
Oh,
so I think it's fun that they brought him back to do the
okay.
It starts with the.
Do you mean they brought back SpongeBob? That's Patchy the Pirate because it's just
Tom Kenny.
It's just Tom
right?
Kenny.
It starts off in beautiful stop motion. Does it? It starts with him driving down the hill, right?
It starts with him being like, I borrowed a milk truck and I gave him a vacation, and then you
gave him Christmas off.
You just see the mailman like tied up in the trunk.
I just love this whole Rankin Bass thing. I love Santa Claus is coming to town. I'm just like, oh, notifications.
Yeah, the
anyway.
start with Patchy looking like Rankin Bass looks so good.
Exactly. It's really well done.
I was very impressed with the stop motion, especially all the different textures of the different characters and the backgrounds they had. Because like in SpongeBob, it's all 2-dimensional, so you don't really think about it. But like
it's all very solid colors too.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of texture.
But like seeing like, like the metal looks like metal. SpongeBob has like little tiny, like he looks like a sponge. Squidward, it looks like weird satin or something.
Yeah.
Like,
and like Squidward's house had like a really cool texture to it.
Yeah.
Even like the houses did. It looked cool.
It's like, it was like raked with something. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I mean, that was really cool. And also another thing I just want to say was like, I think SpongeBob actually looks really good in 3D. Not a lot of cartoons do, but I think SpongeBob did.
Yeah,
like
even some SpongeBob media doesn't look good in 3D. Like some SpongeBob games, he looks a little off. So,
exactly.
Yeah, like even within its own series, and yeah, Timmy Turner looks like
the Timmy Jimmy Power Hour.
I like how Jane and I locked eyes as soon as she said some characters don't look at, or someone said they don't look at in 3D. And then we both knew.
Timmy Turner did not look good in 3D. They all looked adorable in 2 dimensions when Jimmy came over. Yeah.
Jimmy
but
looks
the
great.
Other way, it was gross. He looked like a gerbil. It was nasty. And I was like, Cindy, what do you see in him? Anyway, that's a whole other
Cindy,
We're not
episode. Getting into this right now.
I have a lot of thoughts on that. Those 3 specials.
In 30 years, when we've gone through all of SpongeBob, finally, actually, I'm curious. Someone do the math, because we're not even done with season 1, and we've been doing this podcast for 2 years.
We're gonna do this until we die. Is the math?
We're gonna get done with the quote unquote classic SpongeBob by the time we die.
Hopefully,
we're not even gonna get to season 4. Anyway, so he's like Jenny said, gave Mailman the day off. Potty's there, and he's like, "Do you even know how to get to the North Pole?" And what are the 2 songs? One is
he's just like, "Oh yeah, you just sing Jingle Bells," and then he's like, "Jingle bells, like dashing through the snow," and I'm like, "That's how we sing our Christmas songs when we don't know them."
Wait, we gotta find some fields.
And then it's like, no, it's the what? Do you remember the other?
I do, but
the
I
other
see if you guys
song,
remember.
Anthony.
There's another Bell song, right?
No, it's he's like, Pie says, no, everyone knows the directions of Santa Claus are in the song There Goes Santa Claus.
Yeah.
There goes Santa Claus, there goes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus.
Left on Santa Claus Lane.
No, not Santa Claus Lane, Santa Claus, something else. Like
Road.
Yeah, probably.
Way.
I don't know. But probably I was like, that's funny because Jingle Bells is probably in the public domain, and Here Comes Santa Claus is probably still belongs to someone, so they couldn't use it. because I saw that they were using interspersed, like they said like Jingle Bells later on, and then they called another thing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Seahorse, Randolph the Red-Nosed Seahorse.
Right,
So I
yeah,
know
yeah.
Rudolph, because I'm sure Rudolph is still copyrighted by someone. It's weird.
Probably whoever made that movie.
No, that the Rudolph is like a book from the 30s, like that ended up getting made into the movie in like the 60s.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know then.
It's wild.
But yeah, it was interesting that they had to use a sound alike name, which was funnier because
it is funny.
reindeer, is not really a thing.
And yeah, I think it fits the whole just like, oh, it's like Christmas, but it's a little off because it's under the sea.
Yeah.
So it works.
And then they hit a fork in the road, literally a fork, and they're spinning. And it's like, well, we keep spinning.
Yeah, I like how
I love that.
Pause.
just a fort that like breaks a fourth wall, just looks at the audience.
Well, we keep
Like those old specials.
Well, we're spinning. Let's go see what like SpongeBob's up to.
And then we get the same intro song as the Christmas Who episode, season 2 episode, whatever, that we did 2 years ago as our Christmas episode. Exact same, I'm pretty sure, just in HD. Also, I want to say we had this discussion before where it's for the intro song, it's Flop Like a Fish or Plop Like a Fish, and we all know what the real one is. I'm not going to say it because I don't even remember, and I'm going to get it wrong. But we had the subtitles on, and it said "float like a fish." And I'm like, what? That doesn't even make any sense.
That wasn't in the options. Come on.
That's like they don't float on deck.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That just was somebody messing up the subtitles, right?
Oh, for sure.
Had
but
to
like,
have been.
Because I always get I do that thing where I overcorrect. And I'm like, oh, the one I'm thinking of is the one that is actually wrong. So I'm going to do the other one, and then the other one was actually the wrong one.
I do that too. Yeah.
I would say either flop or plop whenever
Flop.
it's the. Thank you. Flop is the correct one. Anyway, I know you guys are right. I just can't remember it.
Fish wouldn't plop. They flop when you release them.
I still think I had a valid claim to think
it was
correct, because plop is a sound it would make.
No.
But it's not right, but it's a good guess. But float, like, that's not even, no.
I mean, if it's a sunken ship.
That's a third-party
You can't
candidate.
drop on the deck of a
That's not an
ship.
option.
If you're fish, you float.
You
Even
could've-
dead fish float.
You could have half the deck submerged. So you flop on the unsubmerged part, and then you float when you slide down to the submerged
That's too high
part.
concept. I don't think that they're calculating, like, okay, this very one specific shipwreck. And then, okay, so that happens. We get the title card. It's a SpongeBob Christmas, which I want to say I was actually kind of shocked. It looks kind of gross. Like, it looks like the title card for It's a SpongeBob Christmas kind of looks like whatever. I'm not a fan of it.
I think it's supposed to be like reminiscent of.
Let me be reminded of what it was. The font is bad.
Yeah, like
It looks
maybe
like an email gift card or an email like
thank
holiday
you,
card you would get.
Anthony. Thank you. That's exactly what it is. And if you scroll down to the general trivia section on the site or on the wiki for this page, they have other original logo designs that are like way better. Like these look. I'm like, why didn't they use any of these? Like, I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, look at that.
See, that's the thing about this special. Like, there are parts of it that I really like, and other parts that are weird. And I'm like, why did they do it this way? Like,
do you think
like
it
this.
was like a clash of? Well, I don't know. Like, what I haven't looked into the production of it, but who did the animation for? Was it?
It's some third-party stop-motion animator house. Like,
oh, okay.
I've seen Jane, I didn't watch it, but I think the last time I watched this last year, they have like how they made these. Like, actually, they're in the video section. Maybe we can all pause and take a break and watch those when we're done talking about the actual episode.
So Steven Hillenburg wasn't part of this at this time, right?
I don't think he had come back to like producing SpongeBob at this point.
Yeah,
this is
not
2012 it came out.
He's not listed as a producer. So, because like I was trying to wonder where the weird stuff came from, like that's what I was trying to see. Like the weird choices, like where did those come from? Because there were some really weird artistic choices.
I feel like that just kind of happens in later SpongeBob. Like, Anthony, you asked us because if you rent this on Amazon or any other thing, even the version I own, the digital version, is packaged with 2 other episodes.
Yeah, it was really weird. It's like Extreme Sports and something else.
Yeah, Jenny started watching the second the episode as I was like getting everything set up for us to record, because we watched it right before we recorded.
Yeah.
And there were like some weird gags. Like there was one part in the extreme sports one where SpongeBob is like, I need to get a better look at that. And he puts his head down so the top of his head is facing what he wants to look at. And then his eyeballs squeeze out of the top of his head and he looks like at them with like their binoculars.
And then there's another part where like, because they're like doing extreme sports.
Yeah.
Patrick like he's like mind blown, I guess, by like what they're doing. So he literally rips off his head and makes an ice cream cone out of the top of his head with his brain as like the ice cream and starts licking it.
Weird.
It's not good.
I've seen that episode before, but I mean, this is from a later season. So they're probably showing episodes from the same season that this Christmas special's in, and the later seasons of SpongeBob get really like grossed out, that sort of thing. Probably because just more things are allowed, just on TV.
And sensibilities have changed. Like I'm sure competing with like YouTube animation is kind of hard to keep kids' attention when like it's a lot more edgy and gross.
Like Happy Tree Friends.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like stuff like that. You got to compete with that, and you're like a cutesy family show.
So it definitely gets more like gaggy, like physical humor, graphic. Like I still remember there's one episode where they're helping Squidward move a couch or something, and it just gets stuck on his toenail, and it's so graphic and disgusting. Or like the episode where SpongeBob gets a splinter. I skip those episodes every time. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's not good.
So it's interesting.
Although that episode where they're moving the couch, it does have Alton Brown in it. He's the
cool
guy in that episode. Weird, right?
What was that episode about?
That was one where like
he's gonna get his house
evaluated.
Yeah, okay.
On like a home renovation TV show, and Squidward's like, I can be fancy. I think he's trying to upshow Squilliam in that episode.
Squilliam Fancy Pants.
Fancy Son.
Sorry.
Get it? Right.
I thought it was Fancy Pants.
Sorry. I thought it was Fancy Pants.
I'm gonna look like a real ding dong.
Fancy Son.
Fancy Son, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Squilliam Son. He's right. I think that he might call him Fancy Pants to like make fun of him sometimes.
Hey, like that, fancy boy.
Yeah, so I feel like that might be it, but okay. He has a beard.
Huh.
Weird.
Let's get back on track. We have there's
a
lot
custom
happening
theme
with
song, and the kids sounded really creepy. There's a custom theme song.
Yeah.
Which you talked about.
Yeah. Okay. So immediately after that, we cut to stop motion view of Bikini Bottom, and then it zooms in. We get a look at SpongeBob's house, and then he gets woken up by his bell alarm, but it's like jingle bells, right? Or like sleigh bells or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just remember the first time that Jenny watched this special with me, which I think was maybe last year. You were just like, it's really weird. And I started to remember all the weird stuff that was about to happen at this moment. I have it in my notes. I'm like, I know there are parts where Jenny's going to look at me and be like, why? He starts singing. He's singing about how Santa's he's got his jolly little eyes on him. The hat pops out of the top of his head with a little train whistle noise. I thought that was funny.
And Santa is terrifying as he pops up around Bikini Bottom. And
what the heck, dude? That looked like
where...
that show, Mr. Meaty. You remember that show?
Oh,
that looked like a puppet from there.
It does. And like just a part where it's like Santa's, watching us with his left eye on you and his right eye on me, and his eyes just go different directions. Why? Why?
And like the whole song itself is weird too. Like saying Santa has his eyes on me. That's a little weird.
I mean, I think it's just a play off of that. Like Santa's watching you.
Yeah.
Good, but like Squidward has the right idea with his go away light.
Well, yeah, when you put it in the context of Santa looking like that, the song gets creepy.
I don't like. It's weird. Santa looks weird in this episode, and like I don't like that. Like that specific Santa in the sky looking down on them is like very clearly like a puppet in water. Like
its hair is like floating. It's gross.
And like, it's just weird. That was the moment when I first saw this special. I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, this is a bit different.
What's up with that? What's up?
We
cut to, so like Jenny said, we see Squidward's house. Squidward has an interesting complexion, I guess. Like you said, he's made of a really weird
Like
material.
velvet, or not velvet,
Mhm.
but like satin. It
Ah,
looks
that's
like he was
probably what it
covered in
is.
satin or something. It's really weird.
And then we see Patrick laying a trap for Santa. He sings his Sugar Plum
Pa-
Fairy.
Best part
Also,
of this,
Patrick is like, I don't know. I guess because I'm not used to newer seasons of SpongeBob. Patrick seems weird. Like he seems not the same as just comparing it to like any of the recent episodes we had talked about with him. He just seems dumber,
I
a
mean,
little
well,
more one dimensional.
that's definitely what happens to all the characters. Like Mr. Krabs only cares about money, Plankton only cares about the formula, SpongeBob just cares about like having fun, Squidward's just a grump, and Patrick is just stupid.
And Sandy is
Yeah,
science.
Sandy is science.
yeah, and Sandy
Yeah,
is she's really into the science thing in this episode.
and that's kind of just what happens with the later episodes is they do that thing that Robert always talks about that I always forget the name of. What's it called?
Flanderization.
They have the
Yeah.
flanderization. And I know we talked about this before, like with the later episodes, but yeah, Anthony, it sounds like you haven't really
No,
watched them. So, like,
no, it was. I've heard you talk about it a lot. Just I've never watched one of them. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I get it. Like he just seems, and like one dimensional. It's probably the wrong word because Patrick inherently is just a one dimensional character, but like he seemed
well,
even more somehow.
he's actually 3-dimensional, as we've discussed. But anyway,
Well, yeah,
getting
in
that
this
out
special,
there.
he was 3D.
Oh,
Sorry.
This special, he's 3-dimensional. No, but yeah, I mean, I'd say he's 1-dimensional. He's only stupid. Like, at least before he was kind of dumb, but he still cared about SpongeBob
He had
and
a
their
heart.
friendship. And yeah,
Yeah.
now he's just like, because there's some episodes like the one where he becomes king, where he's just dumb and he's mean to like a fault. Where he's like, I'm like, I would not be friends with him because he is a terrible person and he's not a good friend. Or like
Yeah.
there's one where like SpongeBob really wants this like limited edition Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy like shiny card, and Patrick has one, and then Patrick basically is like, oh, I'll give it to you after like we do this and that, and like makes SpongeBob do a bunch of stuff for him, and
Oh,
like
that's not how Patrick would act.
yeah, and he just like uses a card to like pick his teeth and like runs over it, and like and like SpongeBob wanted it in mint condition, but then Patrick's like, oh, here, I have a bunch actually, but like he's still like, maybe I'll give you some. Like he's just being such a jerk, and it's hard to watch Patrick centric episodes now because he's just so mean because he's so stupid and uncaring. And it's frustrating because like literally the first episode he's like, oh, have a nice day at work, SpongeBob, like you got this. Like he's so like he's dumb but he's nice, but now he's just dumb and cruel, and it's just
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely don't like the flanderization of these characters because I liked how they kind of had multiple facets. Now
They're just one deal.
they're just one
One
deal.
trick
Yeah.
pony.
And then after Patrick, then he goes to Sandy's, which he's not wearing a water helmet, which I thought was odd because Sandy has her helmet on later.
And her
but-
tail is floofy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, oh well, actually, I'm thinking, I guess, more so later when she turned into a jerk.
oh yeah, it's all like
You
was
mean
like,
a
oh,
hobo? Because they all
yeah.
just look like hobos.
they do.
Yeah, they do.
I guess hobos are jerks. I don't know. That's
Yeah, I don't know what this is saying, but you got to be scruffy to be a jerk, I guess.
right,
Yep.
exactly. So just everybody these days are jerks because we're all just at home and scruffy.
We all have 5 o'clock shadow. Doesn't matter who you are.
I got
Man,
one.
woman, child alike.
Yeah, I got one.
It's itchy.
My hair's sticking up in different directions. It's just how it is.
After that, we see him at the Krusty Krab.
Well, before you do that, I tried to do what Patrick did when I was a kid. I did lay a trap for Santa, and I thought it would work. I did not the same.
Oh really?
Yeah, Robert, it did. Believe it or not. No, yeah, I did not how he did it, but it was sort of like I put out the I had like a net or something, like it was like a like a little small net that I had
Are
probably
you
for like
Kevin
laundry.
McAllister?
Yeah,
love
totally.
it.
But I was just standing there at night, like looking at the cookies, and like I was gonna throw it. I didn't like build up some like Rube Goldberg machine or anything.
That's adorable.
That's so funny.
I was very young.
I remember when I was getting older, I had this autograph book that I would use to get like signatures from Disney characters or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so I left it out and was like, oh, like signature from Santa. And like a month earlier, I'd gotten a signature from my dad. And when I looked at it, I was just like, why do these look similar? And it just,
You're like, oh, no.
and you know, and I was just like, well, whatever. And then my mom was just like, if you don't believe in Santa, you don't get gifts. So I was like, Santa, I love him. So, you know,
Well, I mean, of course you believe in him. He's real. I don't know what you're
obviously,
talking about.
no, I know. But I just think he didn't sign my autograph book. So my dad did. But I was
Yeah.
like, Dad. He also signed for the Easter Bunny. Rude. But anyway.
Hey, they're busy. The bunny's got to hop to it, and Santa's got to hit like a billion
But he
houses.
has enough time to eat cookies and drink stuff. Okay, sure.
Hey, you know
Rude.
what? You probably got a lot of gifts that year. He didn't have time.
I watched one of the worst movies the other day. We went to the drive-in, and it was a Mel Gibson flick from this year, and
no good.
he plays Santa Claus, and Santa Claus is losing energy. It's similar to Elf, where like he's losing energy because kids aren't believing him anymore. But Santa is a government. He's contracted by the U.S. government to make presents, and he gets paid off of how many presents he makes. And he stops making enough money to pay his bills because kids aren't getting a lot of presents anymore because they're all bad. And so the U.S. government uses that opportunity to then hire him to use his elves to produce drone parts. I'm not lying. That's really a movie that came out this year. It was really
Batman
weird.
2020 film.
It's fucking weird. It was so bad. And it was played completely straight. Like, no tongue-in-cheek. Like, it almost made it funnier because they weren't acknowledging how stupid this plot is. It was weird.
So like Sharknado status, where it was just all like, this is what's happening.
Yep. Yeah. No.
After in a tornado.
Nobody was like, this is weird, right? Like, no, it was not.
Jeez.
It was. Oh yeah, it was interesting.
I mean, I love just watching dumb Christmas movies that just as long as it's Christmas themed, I'll watch it. So I'm kind of like, I gotta watch it. This sounds interesting.
Yeah, go ahead. Huh?
Was it at least like good, or was it just all bad all the time?
No, it was charming. It was weird. It was like the fact that they played it so straight. And there's also this B-side plot where, like, because the movie starts off, this kid is in a science fair and he gets second place. So his family's rich and has contacts with hitmen. So he hires a hitman to like kidnap the girl that won and like get her first place prize back, or to, like make her like drop out or something. And then so that sets up the plot that like this kid's weird. So then he gets coal for Christmas because he did that, and so he hires the hitman to then go kill Santa. Too.
Of course.
And so there's the whole movie, like while Santa's doing his thing, there's like a hitman ravaging his way to the North Pole to kill him. It's bizarre, dude. Like, yeah, go ahead and watch. It's called The Fat Man.
And that's Walton Goggins.
Better watch it.
Yeah.
So
that's the tagline.
Let's give it a watch, as long as we don't have to pay for it, because
Mel Gibson.
Don't want to give him more money.
I watched it. I watched it with it was like a double feature with this Vince Vaughn movie, Freaky, that just came out. It was pretty good.
What was the Vince Vaughn movie?
It was Freaky. It was a horror movie, but it was a Freaky Friday horror movie. So like the girl's about to get killed by the killer, and he gets struck by lightning, so they switch bodies. And it was kind of interesting. It was kind of funny. And Vince Vaughn was the killer, and he had to play like he had like he was a 15-year-old teenager, and it was pretty funny.
That's actually really funny. Okay. I actually really love that. Just like, here's a serious like slasher film or like murder movie or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're just in like a teenage rom-com.
Yeah, it totally swaps, and like the girl is like so innocent looking, and she's like the nerdiest girl, so she's got like a serial killer in her body, and nobody takes her seriously. So it's really good. It's really it was made by Blumhouse, so those guys that make really low budget movies. So it was fun.
From the director of Happy Death Day, Basic Switch, Killer New Look.
I was gonna say, it kind of sounds like those like new scary movies coming out, like Happy Death Day, or
yes, exactly like that,
like Truth or Dare or whatever sort of thing.
Yeah, where they know they're cheesy, so they just play into it. Yeah, it's for sure like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's really funny.
So that was a fun double feature. Like I actually had fun that day. And that's saying a lot with the state of cinema. 2 good movies coming out this year is very rare.
Where did you go see it?
We watched it in Santee Drive-In. It's $10 a person. or $10, and if you hide in the trunk. Um, and it's right
You
by an
do that,
In-N-Out, so
Anthony?
you can go there. No, I haven't done that. I'm not that cheap. But I've done it before when I was younger. But South Bay is also playing it too. But actually, I think you're more close to Santee, honestly.
No.
Though we don't endorse people not paying for movie tickets to see movies, Anthony.
Okay.
Always pay for stuff. It's how business, especially now.
Well, yeah,
Literally.
now, yeah. Yeah, I was last time I did. I was probably like 17 in the trunk with like a bunch of. I was like me, Adrian Toe, and like I forget who else were in the trunk. Anyway, oh god, my cat made his way in here while while this all happened. So if
Send
you
me a
hear
picture.
noises,
I love cats.
okay, let me send a photo. Well, anyway, we can go back to that.
Yeah,
Whatever.
let's.
Well, thank you for the movie suggestions.
Yeah.
We'll give them a watch.
Should.
I literally just saw a picture of that freaky movie right before we started talking. It was like one of the like weird things on like the.
It was an ad for Voodoo before.
Yeah.
Oh,
When I
okay.
started casting, but before I hit play on my SpongeBob
Right.
Christmas, I was like, "What's freaky?" And I'm like, "What's this?"
And I was like, whoa, that's freaky. And then
Wait, so it's on Vudu for free?
No, it's like there. It's also released VOD.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
yeah, okay, cool.
So where are we at? He just got to the Krusty Krab. I think the coral tree in the background of the Krusty Krab's cool looking. I just think it's a cool Christmas decoration. That's my note from that scene.
I just like the whole "'tis the season of getting."
Don't you mean the season of giving?
Yeah, the more you give, the more I get. Just, it's funny.
So funny.
Water Santa shows up again right after this, and then it cuts to Plankton with his oscilloscope wife Karen.
And I love how Plankton's just like, Santa has his eye on me because he only has one eye.
Played by John Goodman.
Yes, we'll get there. But so yeah, Karen, I think that might legitimately be an oscilloscope, Anthony.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
It's dope. For those who don't know, oscilloscopes are those things in hospitals that like turn your heartbeat into visualizations. Anthony owned 2 at some point, and now he owns 0.
Yeah, but we messed around with them. Put music on them. That was fun.
What happened? Why'd you sell those? You were just like, I don't.
It's too bulky. It was too bulky. I should have kept one now that I'm thinking about it because it was so hard to get those 2. But it was pressure from the girlfriend too. No offense to Christine if you're listening, but she was just like, "Get this big thing out of your room."
Yeah, I get it
giant
too.
Things, yeah. So
there's a reason why Robert told you to get them, Anthony, and
yeah, that's fair.
I'm just saying, if you had given me one, we both would have had one. No, I'm joking.
And then Christine and I would have been like, okay, so we're just gonna take these to the dumpster.
Yeah,
right?
you guys would plot a day where you both stole it simultaneously.
Exactly.
Man, why do you just hate cool stuff?
Why do you like bulky stuff?
It's actually a legitimate question.
Exactly. Like smaller things, jeez. And less expensive things.
Anthony got them for a bargain.
There's like that picture of like, you know, the picture of everyone like it's holding hands, like, you know, it's like guitar enthusiasts, people who collect sports cars, and people
Oh, yeah.
or, like, sports cars, and people who like play video games, all lying to their girlfriends about how much it costs, and just like
I think I showed that to Jenny, and she was like, "Robert, you like 2 or 3 of these things. Like, you have anything to tell me?" I'm like, "Nope, everything I buy is cheap."
You are one of the rare like hobbyists that is also very thrifty too. So
gotta be in my financial situation,
and also because I make him. I was raised on thrift stores, just like my mom like was like, here's a bag, go fill it up. It's like bag day at the thrift store. And I'd be like, okay, I got like 20 pieces of clothes. And she's like, no. You need to roll these because they fit. I don't even care if you're not gonna wear them. Like, she's like, these are gifts. These are going to be given to other people. Like, you know, so like, because I never cared about like clothes or whatever. So I would just, I love me a good deal. I love me a good thrift store.
Good.
And, you know,
thrift stores are awesome.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're better for the environment. You can find like name brand things with the tags still on if you care about that. I love boots, so I can buy my boots for like $10-15 without feeling bad, and they're already broken in and they're beautiful.
Oh, broken in, that's true.
Yeah,
so don't get those blisters.
Exactly. So it's like, oh, they might have worn them like 10 times, so they're already broken in, but not necessarily like formed to their feet yet. So
Yeah.
like it's like you wear them for like a day or two and then they fit perfectly. It's great. And and I showed Robert the meaning of thrift stores.
A whole new world. But yeah, no. I mean, also having to like Anthony, we talked about this on Thanksgiving during our chat, like our video chat.
Uh-huh.
Like it's just like you were like when you said when you like are gonna get a new apartment or whatever, like you're gonna upgrade your PC once, you don't have to for a really long time.
Right.
It's just like once you need to like buy food and like stay warm and like have hot water, you're like,
Can't do those
I can't
impulse
do this
buys anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
Who would have
Yeah.
thunk? Living is expensive.
Sucks.
Which doesn't make sense because that's all we're supposed to do, but whatever.
Like, look, I only do this one thing.
Like, I'm supposed to do this one thing. I'm supposed to live. Like,
Okay.
why is it so much money?
Yes.
Gosh.
Let's see. So then there's the Jerktonium, which you find out new element that turns people into jerks.
Which is just kryptonite.
Kryptonite.
Sorry, I was like
uranium.
I'm like, is it the planet? Is it the rock? Okay, it's just kryptonite, right?
I kind of kind of.
It's green and it's glowing,
true.
and it
but I thought it was more like a thing on like uranium, like radioactive materials. Like,
yeah, that would make more sense.
But then he hides it in the most innocuous of all the holiday treats, the fruitcake, which Jenny knew before it even popped up.
Ugh.
I don't know if you remembered, but you said fruitcake, I think, before Plankton even said it, and that picture of fruitcake just was on the screen.
Well, he's a fruitcake, so...
No,
like
SpongeBob a fruitcake.
They're all fruitcakes.
Like, the most unrealistic thing in the show about talking fish is, like, that everyone was willing to eat the fruitcake. Yeah, like, nobody, like, was like, ew, gross. Like, what?
Like, fruitcake isn't that bad. It's not, it kind of just tastes like alcohol with fruit.
Yeah, but it's not your first choice of, like, when you're thinking of something to put it into. It would be, like, I don't even know, pumpkin pie or some sort of fall of Christmassy thing.
Like cookies or bread or just cinnamon rolls or something.
Yeah. I'm not going for the fruitcake first on the spread table.
But that's the thing, is that fruitcake will outlast everything. It will be there come Easter when you're like, I wish I had something sweet. Oh, you know what? You get fruitcake.
Oh, you know that solid brick of what I don't even know? It's still there and it's fine.
I don't know if I've actually ever had fruitcake. I've only ever seen... Yeah, I don't know. Like, no one ever made it in my family.
Grandma never made it? My grandma makes it.
No, not my grandma.
One year, I don't know, someone from like my dad's work or something gave him like 2 bricks of fruitcake. And just whenever it was like, oh, I want like a cookie, I want a dessert, my mom was like, we got fruitcake in the cupboard. And so we just would have to eat fruitcake if you wanted something sweet. And it was the saddest thing. But like, I mean, it was okay. But it was also kind of sad being a kid eating a literal cake made out of fruit. Especially because like...
just not even the name is not cool for kids.
Like, I love fruit. I would be that kid who would eat like a whole bag of cuties. Like, I love fruit. It's my favorite. But I love fresh fruit. I'm not a huge fan of cooked fruit or dried fruit.
Yeah, dried fruit is... and
it's just... So it's just this sad dried fruit and this weird tasting dense cake. Got one slice.
This neutron star of a cake.
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
That's the other thing I've heard. It's just dense.
It's so dense. And
you take someone out with it.
You get a slice and you're like, oh, I'm going to eat this one slice. And it takes you like 3 hours because it's so much. Yeah, you get it thrown at your head, you're going to die. Like, that's why I call it a brick of a cake. It's literally a brick.
Yeah.
Like,
and the image that they used in the show was like a photo scan of like the gnarliest looking.
A real looking fruitcake.
Yeah.
It was like the meatloaf, but it had so much fruit in it. It was all fruit. Like when they showed like that
all the maraschino cherries and
the raisins and the whatever else is in fruitcake. It was just all fruit. And I was just like, that is some dense fruitcake.
So yeah, he makes the fruitcake, comes out of the oven. Plankton just like jumps on top of the open oven door, which looks like it would hurt.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that would.
There's smoke coming off the fruitcake, and he's just standing there holding it with his bare hand. And I'm like, get an oven mitt, put on some shoes. Like, you're like, that's hot.
Single-celled organisms can't feel pain, I guess.
Maybe. Then he cheese grates it on while wearing like a big welding mask, using like pliers and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Sprinkles it on.
Very Frankenstein.
Yes,
very.
Yes.
And then he hops in his Jerk Maker 9000, the fruitcake car.
And then he calls SpongeBob a fruitcake, which
Yeah, here you go,
so
fruitcake.
funny to me. It's like, oh,
So
okay,
weird.
seems a little
I
dated
mean,
even for 2012.
that's what people are. You're a fruitcake.
It's weird.
Means you're crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, did you not know that?
Nope, I was just like, that's
No,
a weird thing he called him.
If you call someone, they're like, oh, that person's a fruitcake, it means like, oh, they're crazy.
I've learned something today.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, Plankton. What's like, hey? And he's like, oh, we got some fruitcake. And then Plankton's eyeball like goes up between his stems like a
Yeah, it was
bell
weird.
at the county fair.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, take it. And then just the teeth.
I don't.
SpongeBob's teeth on that first bite of fruitcake.
All of the people's teeth, because probably just how they made the claymation things. They like were like, they don't really have mouths. They just kind of have like a black thing that's like painted. So like we have to just put their teeth out. Because if you look at everyone eating it, all of the fish like use their teeth to like grab it. And like then there's like square bites in the fruitcake where their teeth were, and it's the freakiest thing. And I hate it. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I didn't like that first bite, and then
it made my teeth hurt. Especially fruitcake. It's so dense. It's gonna break your teeth.
As we found out. And then Plankton says something like a little. You feel like a little grumpy, little something in your dander. I don't know what that means.
He's like, how's your dander? Is it up?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what is dander? Isn't dander like a cat thing?
Well, that's like dander stuff. But I think dander means like happiness, sadness. I don't know, something like that. It's an emotion.
Dander definition. Let's see. Noun, dander, verb. It's.
Like, I thought that's what made you allergic to cats.
It is, but dander also means anger, temper. Now, don't get your dander up. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So, okay, I learned another thing.
Interesting. That's such a odd. I wonder where that came from. We gotta dive into that more later.
We will, and we'll forget.
So curious. Okay.
And then SpongeBob has a second piece, and his taste buds love it. And then we just see his taste buds like,
God, I hated that. I hated that.
That was another moment the last time we watched this when I showed Jenny for the first
more.
time. It's just Cocoa Puffs and like shiny, like glittery balls. It's so weird.
It is weird. It was an unnecessary shot. He had already eaten it. Like, why? They
had to vie for time, I guess. I don't know.
22 minutes. That's what we gotta do. And then he's like, eat the whole dang thing, like just stuffing SpongeBob with fruitcake.
He's like, here's a baker's dozen.
I like how like there are smear frames in this, like yeah. I mean, like basically, like they probably had to make actual
smears,
physical smears. Like
that's really funny.
For those who don't know in animation, to make animation seem more fluid, you animate motion blur, and that's called a smear. So if you look up smear,
if you pause at the correct time, you'll get a really weird looking, like sometimes like SpongeBob has like 3 arms or just 1 eye or something, but it looks good. It looks good in motion because of that, but not.
You have to draw the blur. It's weird.
But
so they did physical smears. That must be fun.
Yeah,
as an artist, that would be kind of fun.
I bet. Yeah, that was on one of the most recent VFX React videos, the Corridor. They did animators last week, and they had an animator on. He talked about doing smear frames in Frozen. He's like, I did this weird thing, like it's.
Yeah. For the
so
time lapse scene.
Yeah. Then SpongeBob gets the keys to the Jerk Maker 9000. He gives the fruitcake to the carolers, just conspicuously standing right next to the chum bucket, not noticing anything that just happened. He gives them fruitcake, and they get bags under their eyes, 5 o'clock shadow, heavy brows.
So they turn into hobos.
And, of course, you hear just like a raspberry noise. He's like, you singing or what?
And yeah, I love how it's like they start arguing about what like song is best. Because I'm like the thing is like he gave him jertonium,
Mhm.
so they should be jerks. But I'm like, but this is just kind of how people are around holidays, because it's like, no, I want it this way, I want it that way.
Yeah,
like,
they
you
just
know.
turn into like every dad.
like I'm like, I think the worst thing someone did was like, someone was like, yeah, have a nice day or something, and like threw a snowball at the guy's face. And I'm like, that's not even that bad. Like, they're being jerks. They're just kind of snippy. But I'm like, but it's just kind of the holidays. That's kind of how people get around the holidays. You're with family. You're like in odd situations. You're like in high stress situations. Like,
Exactly.
they're not acting that different than normal,
I will say that during the holiday parade, people are pretty jerky to each other, though. They kind of turned up a notch during them. Like, the Santa on the float is there, like, why don't you go get a job and get yourself and brush your teeth and like just.
Well, the kid had stinky mouth. I get it.
He just roasted the child.
And then also
like a chestnut over an open fire. Anyway.
Nice. But before the parade, Plankton comes out on a unicycle for I don't know why.
They had the
maybe they just want to keep him eye level with the other characters. Like, I don't. But like, he's like, maybe it is working. And then SpongeBob goes to the Christmas parade and as the super spreader event for this jertonium outbreak. Is just like passing out to everybody. People.
I love how he gives it to the guy who's driving the float, and then the guy's just like, I'm out, and just
I'm out of here.
Tucks and rolls out of the car.
Pearl, when she turns into a jerk,
bizarre looking.
Yeah,
not look like Pearl. I only noticed it was her when I saw the P on her shirt. I was like, that doesn't even look like her.
Yeah, but then just like when she gets mad, like, or jerky or whatever, like, she's just like blowing people down with the water coming out of her blowhole, and then that one dude who like she fills up his head and it gets all big and round. It was weird.
I don't want to think about that too much.
No, and then
so that happens.
And then who's the voice of the kid who's asking for a sled and like all the like different toys?
I think it's just Sandy's voice.
I thought it was Jimmy Neutron's voice,
but I'm pretty sure it's just Sandy's voice. It's like,
see.
why would they bring out like a high profile? Like, literally all the voices are just the main characters making different voices. Like, I've heard Squidward a few times, Plankton, Sandy.
That's true. I'm just looking it up. It's a SpongeBob Christmas IMDb.
Wow, this is a long.
Yeah, we're going really long on this cast. It doesn't say. Oh, actually, you're right, Jay. It's Carolyn Lawrence is the little boy.
Yeah, it sounded like Sandy pretending to be a little boy.
Look at you. Wait.
Oh, but she's the voice of Jimmy Neutron. So we were all...
Wait,
no,
what?
she's the voice of Cindy.
What?
Okay, the person who voices Sandy is the voice of Cindy in Jimmy Neutron.
Okay.
Okay. So, kind of something there.
I was partway there. Whoa, living on a prayer.
Really good at picking up voice actors. She'll just like point Christine. She'll just like, oh, that's so and so from so and so, and I would never have known. It's just like it's like obscure voice roles in just random things.
That's so it's so fun. My mom does that too because she watches so many cartoons. She'll be like, "Hey, that's the like that turtle from like Ninja Turtles is the voice of Beast Boy and Teen Titans," and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I get that too. Like,
just does these things. Robert does it, but with like actual real life people.
But I also have watched a lot of cartoons, so at this point, like, if someone was doing voice acting between like 1998 to 2005, I will recognize their voice. Don't you worry. In anything now.
You didn't recognize my voice.
Who are you? We just talked just now.
Out of my home.
Out of my house. A witch. A ghost witch. Anyway.
Bring me food.
Oh, okay. It's Jenny. That's what you get. Why do I have?
What do you have?
I have SpongeBob graphic as my.
Oh, are you talking about when he? Oh wait, I don't know if we talked about this yet, but when she X-rays him. Are you talking about that?
That's later though.
Oh, okay. Because that was weird.
I have that note after the voice of Sandy being the kid, and before Patchy says we're about as something as an empty bag of beef.
I don't know. You wrote that down?
You need to write better notes. Is what we're getting.
I've
learned this already. Yeah.
Yeah. It only happens once an episode. I have a lot of notes, and there's one that I don't remember.
But like Anthony, does it happen to you? No.
No, I usually write the context. But yeah, you should just write what happens after in parentheses.
I'm taking lots of notes. I can't. My hand can only move so fast.
His notes are like 1 to 3 words each. Basically, that's why he forgets things, because they're just 1 to 3 word notes.
I don't need this. I didn't come here for this. Anyway, so Patchy says something is about as fun as an empty bag of beef or something. I was like, that's a weird phrase. This is around the time.
Wait,
did we skip?
Did the robot come out yet? I think it comes out before Patchy comes in.
Robot.
See. Yeah,
the robot SpongeBob. I think he like.
Oh right.
And then it like goes to Patchy and then commercial and then comes back.
Wait, Anthony, you were right. It was when Karen showed
the inside.
The inside, because there's Karen showing the inside, and then there's later the X-ray at Sandy's place. That's what my SpongeBob graphic figured that out.
Great catch, Anthony.
Good catch.
Right.
So yeah, we're in Plankton's lab, and he's like, it's working. Karen was like, but it's not going to work on SpongeBob. He's too pure of heart or whatever. And then it's like, that tickles. And she was like, well, I've got a plan for that, and takes out the
due to his small brain and large heart,
which we find out later.
Oh, okay.
Toy Bob is his name according to the wiki, but he's like, go on, like seed whatever, like bad thoughts or whatever, and then he's like, oh wait, and then he has to turn the wine.
He has to wind
him up.
Wind him up.
Yeah. My thing is, at this point, I don't get why Plankton didn't just use the SpongeBob thing to go get the Krabby Patty formula.
Yeah, what was his end goal here? He was a weird,
He wants the Krabby Patty secret formula by making him look bad. So that way, by comparison, he'll look good. So Santa will bring it to him, because Santa only looks at the last 2 days before Christmas.
Apparently, yeah. Well, people were that jerky that it comes here for any year of good deeds.
But what I don't get is why he just didn't use the robot while everyone was being jerks to just go get the secret formula, because it's just SpongeBob, so Mr. Krabs wouldn't think anything of it.
Yeah,
and he could just trap Mr. Krabs in the clam like he did before, and then just go get the secret formula. Or Plankton could go get it while he's wreaking havoc. And I'm just like, that seems like a better idea. And just replace the secret formula so that way Mr. Krabs won't know and he can just already get it, look at it, and start replicating
Plankton.
it.
I guess Plankton isn't really known for his great plans.
Nah. It's true.
I guess.
We have 8
he had a pretty good one in that fun episode.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. That was he was playing the long con in that one.
Yep.
Let's see. So he sets off Toy Bob or whatever it is. He, like you said, traps Mr. Krabs and the Krusty Krab sign. And then at some point it goes to commercial break. And it cuts back to Patchy after they're looking. It's got the fork. His eye patch is all cracked from the cold after they build a fire.
My eye patch cracked.
We haven't had food
food in 20 minutes.
It was food, something else.
Very relatable.
I thought you just said food.
I have the transcript up here. And F food. That's many food or water or food for over 20 minutes. And then he tries to eat Potty because he sees him as buffalo wings with a nice side of blue cheese dressing. Okay, just kicking over my trash can. And then they both try and eat each other. FYI,
that old trope.
Yeah, Potty is voiced by Paul Tibbett in this episode. So Paul Tibbett's like a animator guy. He worked with Steven Hillenburg on the early episodes, and I guess he worked on this ep. I think.
Yeah, he's credited.
Paul Tibbett too. I only know it because I saw it this time. I checked because I know in the past Potty's been done by Steven Hillenburg, and I was curious if he had done it again, but he didn't in this.
Dang, he didn't even do that.
He brought it up in I think the first time we met Potty.
That was
2 years ago.
That was eons ago.
Literally, the last time we had a Christmas special, we had just gotten engaged.
Wow!
That was our announcement. Remember?
Oh yeah, it was the Christmas special. Yeah, last year, right?
2 years ago.
2 years. Oh yeah, it's 2 years ago.
We were engaged for a year and a half because of COVID. So
feel myself aging.
Yeah,
my bones.
Yes, your bones.
That's for some reason that's where I stopped taking notes, so I'm sorry.
Well, I
was
guess it's
so
on Jenny and
enthralled.
I.
It's all on you.
You just pieced out partway through.
I guess.
I'm done.
All right, I'm out. So then he's got the crack patch. 20 minutes about food, birdseed. That's when they go back to They go back to the special. They've built a fire and stuff. Patrick has built a tiger trap. He's like, to catch Santa. What do you think I'm doing? And then he falls into the tiger trap on the slick, and he's like, "Hello, Mr. Striped Shrimp." And I was like, "Wait, Striped Shrimp?" And then I remembered that there are tiger prawns, so there was a tiger prawn in that tiger trap.
Oh,
That's why he
that's
said
funny.
that.
Thank
I
you,
didn't.
Animal Crossing.
It's 100% why I know that. You can catch
Oh,
tiger
really?
prawns diving.
Yep.
Yes.
So
That's
And then it
interesting.
cuts.
they're pretty cute and they're worth a lot of money.
Yes.
So.
A lot of bells.
A lot of bells.
Then
Excuse me.
Then it's Christmas Eve, and that's when you saw the thing, Jenny, where like he throws the full on. It's like Merry Christmas, like Merry Christmas. He throws the full like giant snowball. I was like, oh, Santa's not gonna be happy.
Also,
Mhm.
I just have this note. I forget who says it, but I just think it's funny. That's someone. I think it's SpongeBob talking to someone, and then there's like, "I'll go stuff a stocking," and I'm like, that's just a really funny phrase. I think
It is.
It-
It's a very good
very-
suit for work.
if you really want to like just tell someone off, but
But it's the holidays.
it's the holidays, be like, I'll go stuff a stocking.
Gasp.
Yeah. Cotton-headed nitty
Ninny Muggins.
Any muggins?
ninny muggins. I just read the last part.
Oh, buddy. You're just different. Womp womp. Let's see.
Anyway,
He tries to talk to Squidward. He's like, "What do I do?" He's like, "I'm not home."
and he's like, "Oh, let Squidward know
It's like-
when he gets home."
It's like, "Well, what should I do?" It's like, "Go talk to Sandy. Good idea. I'll thank you when you get back." And then Toy Sponge or Sponge Toy, whatever his name is, shows up and just destroys Squidward. Like hits him over the head with his door.
Yeah.
And then
Is that why you thought somebody said Sponge Boy? Is because somebody said
No.
Sponge Toy?
Toy Bob.
No, at some point, if you look at the transcript, somewhere in this, Plankton calls him Sponge Boy.
Oh, okay.
Like he
Me
actually
Bob?
does.
Me Bob, yeah.
Oh, that's it's when he's like, what do I need to do about He's like, soon all the Bikini Bottomites will be jerks, and I just need to figure out what to do with old Sponge Boy before he unveils Toy Bob or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
Toy Bob, yes.
But
Mhm.
yeah, so he goes to Sandy, and I like basically how at Sandy's we learn that the opposite of jerkiness is science.
Yes.
Because as soon as her science activates, she's like, "Oh, I'm not a jerk anymore. I'm just gonna help everybody now."
Yeah. Or she
So-
cares that much about her science that it's able to overcome her jerkiness. I like.
So if someone's being a jerk, just like hit him with a computer.
Yes.
Science.
We have technology.
Get a beaker.
Exactly.
Just whack him.
But I do like how SpongeBob's like, we got a big problem. Everyone's being a jerk. And she's like, the only problem I care about is the amount of fruitcake. And I only got these nuts. And she just throws like a single nut at SpongeBob. And there's like a solid beat where they're just like looking at each other. And
Like, that was bizarre.
It goes plunk, boom, boom. And they just look at each other for like a half second. And then they keep talking. I'm like, someone thought that joke was going to land super hard. And then the fruitcake, SpongeBob takes the fruitcake and throws it in the analyzer, which is just a music box. I just realized.
Yeah, it's one of those old timey music boxes that plays off a paper.
Yeah, that's why all her
Huh.
notes are coming out on like a piano player roll.
Mhm.
And then it's like, it's filled with jerktonium. Why is it? It's like, where'd you get that fruitcake? It's like, Plankton gave it to me. It's like, you distributed food that Plankton gave to you throughout the entire town. Uh-huh.
You're an idiot.
Uh-huh. As his eyes just get like bigger, like the
Glassier and
bigger.
dead-eyed.
It's like, so how do we fix this? It's like, well, I've been eating tons of stuff, and that's when we see the Jello X-ray combination of a small brain and pure heart.
And keys.
Um,
And keys in his left kidney.
Yes.
And then they go and they do a song.
Yes. Don't be a jerk. I like the fish that's playing the chimes in the background.
That Robert knows all of the words to.
Bring joy to the world. Da, 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 da. Okay, so
Great
everyone,
song.
there is an associated SpongeBob Christmas album that came out alongside this special that I have a few songs of it on my Christmas playlist, so I know them really. I actually know this song fairly well. I was singing along, even though even though the song, the special's much newer. Let's see. I recommend it, Anthony. I think you like it. There are a couple of tracks on there that are just like
It's a SpongeBob Christmas album.
It's just called a SpongeBob Christmas. The cover is just the stop motion SpongeBob, so
Oh,
it's hard to miss. Let's see. Don't be a jerk. All that stuff happens. Old Man Jenkins is in it. Apparently, I just know some. Which apparently his name is actually Old Man Walker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you go to
He doesn't he have a bunch of different. There's like a bunch of different Old Man Jenkins. See, not to be confused with Old Man Jenkins. This isn't Old Man Jenkins. His name is Old Man Walker.
interesting.
Because
Yeah.
there's 3 other Old Man Jenkins. They look different. This one's Old Man
Oh,
Walker.
Old Man Jenkins
be
looks
confused
like a miner, like a gold miner.
Yeah. Click Old Man Jenkins.
Not to be confused with Old Man Jenkins, Incidental 91, Incidental 86, or Incidental 80.
So the old miner Jenkins, he comes in beige, blue, and brown.
You know, it comes in normal, beige, and old design.
Beige, blue, and brown.
Oh God, look at old design.
This is
It
weird.
looks like. Wait, what the heck? That's
Whoa,
that's
this is
totally
weird.
different.
Yeah, I sent you guys this one time. There's like a video that's like, who's the real Old Man Jenkins? And it like is like done in like a old like who done it sort of thing.
Like a true crime video. Like, but what's
Yeah.
the real Old
And, like,
Man Jenkins?
It was like posted on
Get
like
along with
Nick, and so Nick posted it, but it's like, who's the real Old Man Jenkins? And
Oh,
it's
so they
just-
acknowledge that it's very
yeah,
inconsistent.
they're like, is it this one? Is it this one? They like acknowledge there's like 3 or 4 different ones people get confused with. It's really funny.
I thought Old Man Walker was Old Man Jenkins.
No,
so,
he's
yeah.
Old Man Walker.
Oh, well, I guess so.
Not to be confused with Incidental 91.
Of
Right.
course.
Commonly
course.
confused.
Obviously.
Anyway, so yeah, he shows up. I like how during this musical sequence, SpongeBob brushes that kid's teeth. I didn't catch that was a
That's weird.
callback to earlier. He was like, because Santa was like, brush your teeth, it smells bad.
Mhm.
And he's brushing his teeth. And then SpongeBob is the, excuse me, SpongeBob is the tooth and then becomes SpongeBob. I didn't like that. It
That
looked
was
weird.
creepy.
It's a bit creepy.
And then we get that sweet saxophone solo. I think saxophone solos should just come back in music as everyone's passing around the gift, being unjerkified. Squidward's face. I like how he never got jerked, like the jerk
He never
applied to him.
got. He never got jerkified. He just was a jerk.
But like,
He's always a jerk.
it just hand him as everyone's getting unjerkified. They hand the present to Squidward, and he's like, just looks at the camera. He's like, and whatever, and then
Yeah,
just
spikes the
hands the
camera.
gift off to the next person. I think
To
Mrs. Puff. So dumb.
who also has a really interesting texture on her back. If you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah,
noticed
I
that.
did notice that
It was kind of weird. Kind of like a pineapple.
a little
It's
bit.
weird.
And then I think Sandy's like dome on her head is like drawn. I don't think it's like a physical thing they did, because then how would they have like animated her underneath it?
That's probably why they didn't do SpongeBob's either, because it would have been too hard to have
yeah.
like water. They would have had to make. They would have had to make different heads with like solidified water with different faces under each one, which would have just been way too much.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Stop motion is a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, have you seen those like crazy stop motion things where it's just like, you know, it's like, oh, we have like 300 different faces, like face movements for this one character that we have to change. You know, it's like, that's crazy. I could never do stop
Like,
motion. I
there-
get so bored.
Yeah, for real. There's a reason Nightmare Before Christmas isn't even 90 minutes long. Like, it's a lot of work. It took like 2 years to make that movie. Like, let's see.
Wait, hold up, Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Oh no,
Oh
did we lose
jeez,
him?
it did. It did.
It did the thing again.
Well, yeah, it was like randomly muted, but okay, I had to like toggle it. Okay.
What was the last thing we
It's,
heard?
it's weird because on here it did. Last time it showed you were muted. On here it didn't show you were muted. So.
You did it. Okay, I don't know. I
Yeah,
gotta.
we ran into
I
some
just reinstalled Windows yesterday, actually, so I'm still having a little bit of issues getting everything back up and running. Maybe that's why.
Maybe.
Okay.
Well, did you say anything while I was talking about where we were talking about stop motion?
I was just agreeing with you that it's very hard,
Ah,
Okay.
and then I heard
So
my
it-
name, and then I was like, oh, it happened again.
I figured I was like if there's no like you like Anthony's usually pretty agreeable or like yeah or like nah, at least if you don't hear any of that, then something's probably happening again.
something's wrong. What is it, Lassie? Let's see. So then we they finish the song. They're on front of the Krusty Krab. Everyone's not a jerk anymore. Santa shows up. Good old that jolly old elf with liver spots and a weirdly round bald head. Like you said, it looks like a Mr. Meaty character.
I hate him.
It's voiced by John Goodman, which Anthony, I know you know this. When else has he played Santa Claus? I know for a fact you've seen this.
I'm sure I have, but I know it off the top of my head.
Well, he doesn't technically play Santa Claus. He plays a different iteration in the year 3000, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Santabot.
Yeah, exactly.
In the first time that
Future
Santabot appears. He's
he's not continuing. Afterwards it's somebody else, right? Yeah.
After that, I think it's John DiMaggio.
Yeah.
But nope, this is the second time that John Goodman has
How do you
played.
know this, by the way? Just
I watch those Futurama specials every year.
okay.
I mean, John Goodman is a pretty recognizable voice, to be fair.
He's John Goodman. I don't know what you want from me. He's Pacha. He's Sully. He's
Walter Sobchak
what?
from The Big Lebowski.
Thank
Come
you.
on.
It's the Sabbath. Let's see. So yeah,
okay.
You've never seen Big Lebowski, right?
I know one of those.
Was
I
it
know
Pacha?
some of these words.
Wait, Sully from like the Plane movie, or
No, Sully from Monsters,
Inc. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
And then Pacha. Who's that?
Who?
Pacha from Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, so you're just saying words. I'm like, I don't know who these people are. Okay, yeah.
The rest.
The rest.
Should we inform people of
Yeah,
what we're saying?
okay.
You said that like 3 times.
So yeah, okay. I'll direct it to Anthony. So, have you ever seen the Twilight movies?
Ooh, forever ago.
Okay, so there's like a part in like, I don't know, the one where Jacob becomes a werewolf or something. There's like a
Right, that's the subtitle of the movie. The one where Jacob becomes a werewolf.
The second one, I guess.
or something. It's either new moon or eclipse or wait, what? I don't know.
This is not important.
Bella's doing something,
Yeah.
and Jacob is like, "How could you do this? Like, you need to be careful. You have a lot of people who care about you. You have Charlie, everyone else," and like he says it in such like a weird way. It's like, okay, but are you gonna list the other people? And I was watching like a commentary, like Dylan is in trouble. He was watching all the Twilight movies, and he was, I'm pretty sure it was him, and he was just like, Charlie, the rest.
The rest of you?
You got Anna Kendrick in there. Like, he doesn't like Edward, but he could be like, Edward cares about you. He
Your
could've said,
mom.
Yeah, she's got it.
Your
Mom
stepdad.
could have been like, I care about you, clearly. Like,
it's like Charlie. And it happens again later too, where I think like Alice or someone is just like you could have died, like when she jumps off the cliff in like the movie or whatever. It's like, you could have died, like you have to be careful. Like, what would have happened to Charlie or everyone else who cares about you? And I'm just like,
it's funny because like,
okay,
I think the writers probably realized that both those people they wouldn't have known about Bella's mom. They don't know her friends from school. Like, it would have been awkward to say that Edward cares about you. Like, they were like, we have to list off everyone who cares about her. But these characters would only know Charlie really cares about her. So
Charlie,
the rest.
So we just do that now, when just all the time. We're like,
So yeah. John Goodman of 10 Cloverfield Lane fame shows up. A movie I have not seen, but it last John Goodman thing. I read a thing that apparently whenever John Goodman is like the side character in something, not the main character, but is like a supporting role, the movie is consistently better. Like, he's just the perfect not main character.
Yeah, he's a great complement of whoever else is on screen.
It's like Paul Rudd.
Exactly.
Who?
Well, those Ant-Man movies are pretty good.
But he's still, honestly, in Ant-Man, he's still a side character.
That's true. He's
somehow,
part of an ensemble.
Somehow he's a main character by being a side character. Because, I mean, I'd say in Ant-Man and the Wasp is like the main character.
Wait, are you talking about Paul Rudd?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure.
Just, he's a side character. Even in Ant-Man, he's still good, but like he has like maybe 4 lines. Like, just in all of the movie, he has like maybe 4 lines that have substance. The rest are just like one-liner quips.
You're right. He's either hanging out with his criminal friends, like or he's hanging out with Evangeline Lilly and
And the
Michael
dad.
Douglas.
And the rest, yes.
Yeah, he's one of the best parts of Endgame. Like
he's funny, but he just has like one-liner quips. He really only says a few things that like are like substance, like when he's talking to his daughter, and that's kind of it. The rest are just like, look at your face, or it's a big ant. Like, I don't remember the movie that well.
All right.
But you know, the rest. Okay.
The rest of
the rest.
So let's try and fly through the rest of these notes because we've already been recording for a while.
And I'm really hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So Santa comes and it's like, you're all been naughty. The only person who's been nice is Plankton. And everyone's like, what? And then as soon as they announce that Plankton's been the only one who's been good, there's a fish in the background who he's got the anchovy mouth, that really long like meep 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 mouth, but he like drops his jaw and it bends because they're like, it looks weird.
Do you ever see that like weird? I don't even know what what country it's from, but it's like a girl laughing and like it's like her half of her head goes back and it turns into like a big mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
No, it sounds like body horror.
Oh, it's really really weird. Let me see.
Terrified.
Is it like modified? Is it part of the commercial? Or does she just have a weird mouth?
Oh no! It's part of the commercial. Like literally, her whole head splits in half into a mouth, and it's supposed to be like a haha funny commercial, but it's not. It's really weird.
Just terror.
I'm gonna look up head mouth commercial.
Creepy commercial. Large mouth laugh mouth commercial is what I put.
I don't like anything that came up when I searched this. You know, Anthony, we're gonna keep this for off air. Our viewers don't need to know about this. Yeah,
the thumbnail of that video.
Okay, yeah, send it our way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And that was a commercial.
I'm not clicking on that. No one needs to know about that. It looks like a freaking Titan from Attack on Titan.
It really
does.
If you really are curious, DM us on Instagram and we'll send you the video.
It's freaky.
We're not putting that out there for everyone to see. And then so the elf that hands Santa the Krabby Patty secret formula is really creepy. They've got these like large underbite teeth, and like they just like when he hands it over and like Santa's talking to Plankton, his fingers are like all like moving and like, yes, haha, I got the secret formula. And they're like, how'd you get that? And he's like, I have my ways. And then just he lifts Mr. Krabs' wallet out, the elf does. And then we get Pearl's literal like one line. It's like, Dad. And it's just the elves are weird. And I think another thing that I'm like, this is weird and creepy, but I love it. It's like, it was silly. And then SpongeBob has this moment where he's like really deflated. He's like, worst of all, SpongeBob, like he's broken and needs to be carried over by Patrick. When Sponge Toy Bob or whatever it is shows up, there's a split second where you see SpongeBob standing next to Santa, and his body's just like like deflated, and it's weird, and it's like I don't like it. Another thing, I'm just like a weird small piece of animation.
Yeah. They will this whole I wonder if I don't know, is the style in this, do you feel like it is totally different than the rest of the show, or do you think that's just part of the later seasons?
I
like
feel
the weirdness you felt in this, do you feel that also in the other episodes?
I feel like Jake can answer this better, but I feel like they probably have a bit of it, but it also got amped up to 11 because they wanted to do weird stuff with
and you're right, the style change might have helped it too, right? Be a bit
Jenny
weird.
wasn't paying attention.
I was looking at that weird commercial you sent, and it's you bury the lead with the mouth being the weirdest part. Okay, there's a guy's head that comes off with big ears and he flies away, and then also the thing is like delete it for sexual content. What?
Yeah.
What?
Sorry. Why are you watching that now?
I was curious.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I got the worst.
We talked about this earlier. I got distracted.
Anyway, Anthony was asking, do you think the weird stop motion stuff that happens in here, like the Cocoa Puffs on the tongue, or like the weird animation frames, do you think that's on par with the weird gags in the later seasons, or do you think they amped it up to 11 because it was stop motion?
Oh, I'd say that this is like mild compared to the new.
Really? Wow.
Like, okay, if you want to know what I'm talking about, especially Anthony, Like, just go on YouTube and just like, because Nick posts these. Just look up like a compilation of SpongeBob's grossest moments. I accidentally found one like a few days ago and
Jeez,
watched
of
like
course
3
they do.
I was like, ew. Like, watch that, and that's more like indicative of what like newer SpongeBob episodes are like. They all have like one really bad gag, like an episode.
Right.
And so I would say this is honestly like just a more like I'd say this is more mild, if anything.
Oh, wow,
They're probably
okay.
limited by their like
Stop motion.
by their stop motion, you know, because like if you notice, because one thing I noticed was like during the stop motion they couldn't have any sort of like, oh, his like head's like blowing off, or this is like being like things that cause separation between the body parts, I guess, which is like something that they do a lot in SpongeBob, but they couldn't in the stop motion thing because of,
It's
you
it's
know,
too
stop
hard.
motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be too hard to have like a head floating and then a body down here. So like it kind of limits it. Whereas like in regular SpongeBob, they're not limited to that. Because watching part of that episode right after watching this, I was like, oh yeah, this is way more physical than like the actual stop motion thing. So yeah, I mean it's weird, but I don't think it's necessarily worse. I'd say there's a lot worse. Ooh,
Oh boy, that doesn't make me feel good.
it shouldn't. It should make you feel the other way.
Yes, it does. So last we get, well, coming up on the end, the Toy Bob shows up and he identifies he's got to destroy Christmas, which was his directive. I had forgotten that. And so he goes to destroy Santa. SpongeBob hits him with a bunch of fruitcake.
He blocks his little like vent, which makes him
explode. Well,
Yes.
implode and then explode, I think.
yes.
I like the transformation where it's literally, it just turns into like 9 different square cubes, like metal cubes, and they kind of fly out and fly back in, and all of a sudden the like the robot's bigger for no reason. I'm like, that's your transformation, okay. Also, we talked about our Holly Jolly debate, because he said something about Holly Jolly.
You know, he was like, oh, like, you'll be jolly or something. And so
like a few days ago, Robert, on my own personal Instagram, posted how I was about to get Holly Jolly in the apartment because we haven't started decorating yet. And so I posted a poll, like, which do you prefer, Holly or Jolly? Anthony, you and Christine both voted the same. Jenny voted Jolly while I voted Holly. It was an even 50-50 split. I don't
That's
know what
so
I
funny.
expected.
what did Anthony, what did you vote?
Robert, what did I vote for? What did you say?
I think you voted Holly.
Okay.
Both you and Christine voted the same. I remember.
Okay.
I was like, oh,
You
that's
can't
cute.
be Holly. What is Holly? It's a freaking poisonous plant. You gotta. Jolly is an actual mood. Holly is just like a decoration.
No.
But you don't
Like,
have Jolly without
But-
Holly.
Exactly.
you can have Jolly.
Duality of man right there.
No, you can have Jolly. They said Jolly like 3 times in this episode, and no one mentioned Holly.
Oh man, I didn't know this was going to be such a hot button issue.
You should know every issue is a hot button issue.
I do.
No.
Haha, touch your nose.
Mm. I'm gonna get you.
Oh no.
It's tickling my feet. I'm gonna kick you in the face. Anyway.
Another 30 Rock line, Jenny just said. Anyway, but yeah, it's Holly
Yes.
Jolly. There's a plankton smear.
Oh, but anyway, we were just wondering which do you guys all prefer? I'm partial to
Put that up
Jolly. I have nothing against Holly, but if someone was like, "Oh, I hope you feel Holly," I'd be like, "What are you saying?" If someone's like, "I hope you feel Jolly," I'll be like, "Thank you."
But I like
So that's just
I like Holly.
Maybe that's what it comes down to. You either like the way the plant looks as a decoration or how you
I
feel.
like the way the plant looks, but I think Jolly is more like means more about Christmas than Holly does.
Oh well,
let's
I guess.
put up the poll. Let's put up the poll when you put
Actually,
up the
yeah, we're gonna put this to rest. Holly versus Jolly.
Yeah, I'm
The
curious.
Bikini versus Jolly. I don't know when this episode's going up, Anthony. We have to talk about that at the end, but I'm gonna post on Insta. Okay, cool. Let's see. So there's the big fight. He blows up Toy Bob, Sponge Toy, Bob Boy, Toy Bob.
They find the little twisty thing in the back, and it's like it's like property of if lost, please return to Chum Bucket.
Yeah.
They're like Chum Bucket,
And then Plankton just like kind of like tries to sneak away. He's like, and Mr. Krabs steals it back, and then does he get kicked? And then he gets smeared into the back.
I think he's just like, don't make this worse on yourself. He takes it out of Plankton's hand. I think he just like kind of hits him with his claw.
But yeah, he gets thrown into the back of the sleigh, and then he then he falls off. But then there's like a little, I don't know if you saw this, Anthony. On the back of the sleigh, after Plankton falls off, there's like a little wet spot where Plankton
Oh.
was,
Like
No,
in the
I did
shape of Plankton.
and I'm like,
And whenever Plankton splats, I'm always like, oh, there he is, looking like the Nickelodeon sign. So
Does
he
look like
Nickelodeon
that,
sign
you
On
never go
the-
full Nickelodeon.
on the sleigh, and then when it fell off, it was like a wet spot in the shape of Plankton.
Oh.
It's kind of,
Yeah, and that
and then he
looking
was-
back, I'm like, that was probably just the glue that they used to like hold it, the model. But like, I didn't like it. And then they dump coal on,
on him, and he's like, no, and he just dumps coal on him.
and then they don't show everyone else getting what they wanted for Christmas. They just show
Just-
them not getting coal.
No one gets presents here, haha.
Oops. And then he flies off, and then he's like, where's Patrick? And then Patrick gets Santa with his net, and then he goes crashing down. That's the end of the SpongeBob segment. Then
Like, gotcha. Just
then we go back to Patchy and Potty, and Patchy's eye, like when he sees Santa's like workshop cave or whatever, it bulges out. I didn't like it. I took it down as a note.
gross.
And then Patchy's like, he finds Santa, quotation marks, and then he does a little float over thing, which Jane and I were like, that was unnecessary. They were just filling
I
time.
loved it. I thought that was so funny.
I mean, it was cute.
Yeah,
but
it was
it also
hilarious.
Took a little too long, I think.
What did you think, Anthony?
Can you show me a photo of it? I don't remember. that.
Go
It's
on the SpongeBob Christmas wiki, click on gallery underneath the episode information, and just there should be a photo
probably
of it at
toward
the very end.
But yeah, he kind of like he does this thing where he gets like his hands and kind of flutters them with his feet while they're fluttering over to like where Santa's sitting
Mhm.
and like lands on a present.
It's like the last photo in the final
Just send him
third
a picture.
final row. Oh yeah.
Just-
Copy image.
Where's the gallery? I'm blind. I see the art.
At the very top, underneath the title card, there should be episode transcript gallery
Oh.
credits.
Okay, but let me see what you.
It's a separate page. I just sent it over our chat.
Ew. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's floating. He floats up and then he floats down. And he's like, all I want is to meet my hero, SpongeBob SquarePants, right? That's what he
His face. Santa's face looks so gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
and then of course we find out he starts getting salted, and we find out that it's a bear. It's a polar bear.
Yeah. And he just starts putting salt on him, so it's really funny. And then he like runs out of the cave, and then Potty's talking to Santa.
The real Santa.
And I think that this is because it's the same Santa from the show, right? Because I think this is interesting because it's the first time we actually see someone who meets like Patchy and Potty, who was also actually in
SpongeBob.
who was actually in Bikini Bottom.
Right, because
Which-
usually
right.
they're separate worlds, right?
Yeah, which you can only really do in I think like a claymation thing, unless like the gorilla went and saw like Patchy or whatever,
Well,
you know.
I don't think all those people at Apache's like house party had been to Bikini Bottom.
No,
Right,
they were all just they were all their own thing.
Their own thing.
Part of it, yeah. They were all their own thing. So I think it's interesting that it's like, it's the same exact Santa from Bikini Bottom that was just talking to SpongeBob is now here talking to Potty.
For sure.
So I just think that was interesting.
That was a good catch. I didn't even think of that. And then Santa says to Pie, he's like, I think that stealing a mail, what did he say?
A mail truck.
I think stealing a mail
is-
truck definitely counts as naughty. Wouldn't you say, Potty? And I'm like, yeah, that's a federal offense. Seems like it's pretty naughty. I know like 5 people who work at the United States Postal Service. Not a cool thing to do.
Robert just got triggered.
They
for
take it
his
real
whole family.
seriously.
Yep. And then they're laughing, and they both say Merry Christmas, and then that's the end of the episode. Yeah, that's it. I don't have any
Yay.
other notes. The only thing I want to bring up was that SpongeBob album that came out at the same time as.
You didn't brought that up though.
That's what I was going to say, is that I had already talked about it.
Then why
So
are
I
you bringing
don't.
it up again?
Well, I was going to shut up.
You shut up. Don't
you
you
shut
shut
up.
up. You shut up.
You shut up.
You shut up.
Shut up, Jen.
Shut up.
Stop it.
Mm.
Urgh. Anthony, who should shut up?
No, don't get me into this.
I will absolutely bring him into
Don't
this.
answer that, Anthony. It's a trap.
It's a tiger. It's a tiger prawn trap.
We both know where you live, so it's a trap. Okay, anyway.
No good can come of this. Anyway, did anyone else have anything to say about this special? I liked it. I thought it was really good. I do watch it every year on my own. Like now Jenny's gonna watch it with me.
I
every
thought it
year.
was really solid.
Yippee.
I don't know. I like the extra light. They gave it some extra time to build a little bit of story. Oh, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I was gonna say something like that, where I think that sometimes SpongeBob episodes, especially when they're longer, can kind of just be like 3 different episodes put together. But I feel like this one actually, even though a lot happened, it had a good like start to finish where everything made sense.
And
Plus, they had like 4 songs.
yeah,
True.
yeah, the songs are great. I loved the change in animation style. That's something that I appreciate that they took even if it was later in the SpongeBob years. I'm glad they took the risk. That's different. It's polarizing.
Yeah, they do another one of these stop motion ones for I think a Halloween special a few years later. I don't know when that one came out, but it was several years later. They probably started working on it immediately after this other special. I do want to point out that like we did talk. I brought up that like this is a weird special that like there's a lot of weird jokes and stuff, but like I've seen several of those like old Rankin Bass stop motion specials, like the really good ones that everyone talks about, like Little Drummer Boy, Rudolph, like the
Santa Claus
Coming to Town. Like those are the most normal ones, and they still have a lot of really weird stuff in it. I started watching A Year Without a Santa Claus today, and I'm like, this is weird. Like they go down to Dixieland, like late 1800s, early 1900s, like the South, and there's the Miser Brothers. Like what is that? Like if you have an AMC account or a cable subscription, go onto the AMC app and they have all the not big like stop motion ones. Like they have The First Christmas Snow and Jack Frost and The Leprechaun's Gold for Christmas, all real stop motion Christmas specials that Rankin Bass produced. I have not seen a lot of them. They're all really weird. Like they take these weird disparate, like the Jack Frost one starts on Groundhog Day. Like the groundhog from Groundhog Day is a part of the story. It's weird. Like it's really weird.
They were in their own world, man, when they're making those. Nobody was telling them what to do.
Yeah, like I said, the Santa Claus Come to Town is probably the best one because it's the most coherent story that's got the least weird elements in it. Like you kind of accept the weird stuff in it because it's so good and well made. Everything else is I don't know. I'm sure someone has written articles that ranked all the Rankin Bass specials. I think there's a Vox one that kind of hits on what I'm talking about. But yeah, do yourself a favor and watch like one of the weird ones that doesn't play normally because you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Let's see.
So
that was my last note. I think it was just cool to watch a Christmas special. We're a few days into December. I'm looking forward to Christmas time. Might have finally spending Christmas with you for the whole month. That's awesome.
yeah, we're gonna have an Italian Christmas.
Neither of us is Italian, but we decided we're cooking Italian food for Christmas Eve and day.
Nice
for us.
Yeah, my mom does the Christmas lasagna usually.
I mean, actually, we were talking about.
That's what my parents are gonna have, Christmas lasagna. So, gonna make that.
I have to dip really soon, probably within the next 10 minutes. So
I mean, like, I was legit winding down. Let's just do useless trivia, and then I think we're good to go.
Gee.
We won't have time to watch these making of videos, but they're on there. They're on the wiki if you want to find out how this got made. All right, everyone, let's just take a second.
One interesting thing I noticed, that as an aside, the next episode, that Extreme Sports, had Johnny Knoxville in it.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
it said guest starring Johnny Knoxville, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
That makes so much sense.
Right. This is the second time Plankton is seen on a unicycle. The first time is Squidward's School for Grown-Ups.
What episode is Squidward's School for Grown-Ups?
It's at season 8, episode 157A.
So, okay, cool. I don't know that one. Jenny's looking through her.
I know mine.
Okay, you know yours.
Yeah.
Mine is Patrick mentions Fort Knox, a landmark in Kentucky. Fort Knox stores pure gold.
Okay. Thank you.
That's mine. Jenny?
Okay. Mine is, in this episode, the end credits theme is low-pitched.
That's a good one. I actually did notice that. As the ending credits theme was playing, I was like, this is in a different key. Like, they messed with, like, the pitch of it.
I didn't
Feels
notice
like it sounds different.
I mean, I was thinking that, but I knew it sounded different. Like, it plays for, I think it's because it plays for longer, too. I think it might take longer to play. I think they stretched out the file and, like...
Made it low-pitched.
Yeah, like when you play something on a slower speed.
Mm.
Because there were probably a lot more people working on this because it's whatever. Wow, there's a lot. First of all, who won useless trivia?
Can you remind me yours again, Robert? What was it again?
Mine was the one about Fort Knox. What was yours, Anthony?
I think Fort Knox is pretty dumb.
What was yours though?
Unicycle
one.
Jenny, and was the low pitch. I don't know. I vote Anthony. Yours seemed pretty useless. Like, oh, cool, he's on a unicycle. Whatever. Jenny.
So there's somebody out there.
I vote for myself.
A 3-way tie. It's a Christmas miracle. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Merry Christmas, everyone.
I'm going to layer that organ sound 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
There's actually a lot of
interesting trivia.
There is a lot of good trivia. I wish we could go through this, but Anthony's got
about SpongeBob, which I thought was pretty cool.
Huh.
Like they called SpongeBob SpongeBoy, which was his original name.
Yeah, it used to be SpongeBoy Ahoy in the original sketches.
And I also like the one that this was put out exactly 12 years after the first Christmas special.
Which of course it is. It's on Christmas. It's the same time.
Did this air on Christmas Eve?
Well, no, but it would air at the same time as the last one.
But exactly 12 years.
Like on December 12th or whatever it was.
It could have dropped by a few days. It could have been like, oh, it's a Friday, so it's...
aired November 23rd in the United States.
Who knows?
That's fair. That's fair.
On CBS. That's weird.
Oh yeah, this was a special. Apparently, it came out on DVD first, and then it aired on CBS and Nickelodeon at the same time.
Nickelodeon.
There's like which of these release dates did it air on the same?
Yep. Okay.
It sounds good.
Next, moving on.
No, but there's like a lot of really good trivia. There's something on here about John Goodman. He voiced Santa Claus in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie. He is one of only 4 actors who play Santa Claus in more Christmas productions.
Huh.
So
cool.
Yeah,
There's a lot of...
I guess let's wind down now.
Yeah. All right, everyone. I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Honda Days, have a good Toyota-thon.
Merry Chanukah.
Merry Chanukah. And just have a good Kwanzaa. Ramadan doesn't happen this time of year, but once it does, have a good time on that too.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes. The thing that every time I say that, Jenny says to me, I haven't seen Seinfeld. Why are you saying this to me?
I don't like Seinfeld. And at least like twice a week, Robert will quote something from Seinfeld. He literally quoted something yesterday, and I was just like, I don't know what you're saying because I don't watch Seinfeld.
And it's not even like I'm doing it out of malice. I'm just like, oh, it's a silly line that I saw on the internet. Like, it's from a meme or something.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even seen Seinfeld since it was on. Like, and she's just like, I haven't seen Seinfeld. I actually actively don't like it. Stop quoting it.
Not a fan of Seinfeld. I watched like 5 minutes. I was like, this is boring.
Well, whatever. All right, everyone. Well, I want to say, for real though, happy holidays. Have a very Merry Christmas. You can follow. This is our Christmas episode. I don't know when this is going up, but it should be up before Christmas Eve.
Yep.
What's this? When Plankton picks up the fruitcake up from the oven, he stood on the plate, which should have burned him. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Robert wrote that.
That's under the errors. Haha, you guessed it. I'm actually been writing all the useless trivia and errors. All right, everyone. Well, let's see. Oh, Jenny, you were absolutely right. An interview with Screen Novelties, which I guess is who made the stop motion, revealed that because SpongeBob doesn't wear a helmet in Sandy's Tree Dome, because it would have been very expensive to have a helmet on SpongeBob, and they would have had to do like a bunch more stop motion.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
It's so smart.
I'm like, they would have had to do a different helmet and face for each, because they just changed out the things to make the stop motion. So would have had to do a different face with the helmet for each single.
That's funny.
So
okay, this first error though is just them changing it. They said it's left on Santa Claus Drive.
Right on Santa Claus Lane.
but it's down. Yeah, like no, they changed it for. I think that's the joke that they changed it.
Okay, so
Anyway, everyone, thank you for joining us these holidays, whichever Monday you're listening it to. Stay safe. We're close to not having to be inside all the time, so just don't go out prematurely.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Don't.
That's true.
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up. Is Jenny's Christmas
Okay.
message.
Yeah, just be sad all the time.
Is that not what we were already doing? But for real, whenever be safe. Know that there's an end in sight, even if it's a little bit farther away. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa. I don't know if you say Merry or Happy Kwanzaa. I don't know. Let's see. Just stay safe. Have a good Boxing Day. We are Bikini Bottom Radio on various social media platforms. You can find us on Patreon, or we post our stuff various places. We even have a YouTube that maybe.
Yes.
It's just episodes of the podcast. All right, everyone. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Have a very Merry Christmas. Don't be a jerk. And go listen to the SpongeBob Christmas album. It's really good. Anything else?
Oh, Merry Christmas.
You do such long outros.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone. Merry Christmas.